Welcome to the channel. I am Alexa. This is my new channel. I just wanted to come on here and start reviewing some films. Film major, I don't know anything about films really. I just go off of vibes and vibes alone. I just love to evaluate some films and kind of see the underlying meaning. Underlying?
In English class, I did the best.
Anyway, I love movies. I'm a movie girl, and I've been wanting to start a channel for a really long time. I just said, fuck it, let's do it. So why not? If you know me, hi, how you doing? If you don't, hello, it's so nice to meet you. So today, we are actually going to be watching the movie Your Monster, written and directed by Caroline Lindy, and the stars are Melissa Barrera. I cannot roll my R's. I'm so sorry. Tommy Dewey, who is Monster. This movie is about Laura, who is played by Melissa Barrera. She got diagnosed with cancer, and her boyfriend was there with her after she had gotten her, cancer treatment, basically, and had a surgery, a major surgery, and literally just broke up with her, in the middle of her healing. Was like, I can't do this anymore. I just need to think about me. Piece of shit. First off, piece of shit. They were together 5 years, I think they said.
He sucks.
So he breaks up with her, and she has to go back to her childhood home. She just doesn't really have anybody. She has her friend Maisie, who is quite literally the most shit friend I've ever witnessed on screen in my life.
Don't be fucking rude.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God.
She goes back to her childhood home, and she is grieving the loss of her breakup, and suddenly she meets the monster that's been living under her bed and in her closet her entire life.
Seems normal enough to me.
His name is Monster, and they form a friendship/love, and it is quite a wonderful story. Only thing, there's a twist at the end. They portrayed this movie as a very romance horror comedy type of thing, and I don't think that's what this is. It's definitely a horror comedy for sure. There's a lot of funny bits to it. There's a lot of banter back and forth. There's music in it. It's kind of a musical, not really. It's about her being in a musical, so it's partially that. It's such a good movie, and I wanted to watch it again, so now that I've known the twist at the end, it's going to adjust how I view the film now. I wanted to film my reaction, maybe have a little discussion about it, and keep it fun, light, whatever. Let's get started. So far we open up the film with Laura getting out of the hospital, and her friend Maisie is picking her up, and she's just very kind of dead behind the eyes. She's not doing well. She's just kind of sitting in the wheelchair,
I am dead inside.
And it kind of flashes back and forth to what's going on in her life. So the doctor telling her that she has cancer, kind of seeing her and her boyfriend singing and making songs together, and then kind of back and forth from her in the hospital through surgery, and then with Jacob breaking up with her. So Jacob leaves, and she starts not even chasing him down the hallway. She's literally waddling down the hallway because she's so she's fresh out of surgery. She's not well. She's had all these incisions in her stomach. It's a horrible scene to watch. It's really so sad to see her do that. She gets picked up from the hospital after she's just grieving the loss of her boyfriend. Her friend Maisie picks her up. She takes her back to her house, and she says that her mom isn't there. Literally, they end up speaking about it. They kind of end up talking about it a little bit, where she's what's it like being back home? Even though your mother's never here, even though your mom doesn't even come here anymore. And she's whatever. And then there's a bunch of pies in the kitchen. So her mom sent her a shit ton of pies and cookies and sweets, and then $5,000. It was just kind of here you go, here's things that'll make you feel better, and kind of left it at that.
Dessert.
Now, Laura just noticed a bag and a box on the ground in the living room, and she was like, what is that? And her friend Maisie was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Jacob called, and he wanted me to pick up some of your stuff from the apartment.
Grandpa, what are you doing?
Packing your stuff, short man.
And she's like, I didn't want to tell you. She's like, I'm sorry. I know. And then she starts crying, and she's like, how did it get like this? What is wrong? And she's like, no, don't cry. She's like, it's okay. It's okay. First off, red flag. Why are you picking up my shit from my man's house? No, thank you.
Yeah, no thanks.
He dumps me after I have cancer treatment. Fucking cancer treatment. And you're thinking, "Ugh, let me help him out. Let me like go and pick up her stuff. Like, let me just swing by.
Bad friend, bad friend, bad friend.
No, you're going to get ripped a new one by me. I'm going to burn all your shit and you can go ahead and bring her stuff over. I don't care. I have no inkling to make you fucking feel better and get her shit out of there. Okay? You can bring it over, bitch.
Said what I said.
Anyway, now she's telling Laura, she's like, don't cry. She's like, it's okay. Like, I'm here for you. Like, I'm your ride or die, bitch. Like, I'll always be here for you. Like, it's just you and me together. And she's like, thanks. Like, that means a lot. And then her friend goes like, oh, wait, what time is it? And she's like, oh, 3:30. And she's like, fuck, I have to go. Like, I gotta get out of here. And leaves. So that's where we're at right now. It's about 5 minutes and 13 seconds into the movie. So we're going to go ahead and keep watching and just kind of move on from that. Who leaves somebody at home to heal themselves from a major cancer surgery? That's actually fucking bonkers to me. Everybody in her life sucks, besides Monster. Monster is actually quite great. To be quite honest with you, she is crying so much, but I get it. Because, like, me too, bitch. I'm such a crier. I could cry for days and it still won't be enough. I'm also a Pisces, so.
You would be a Pisces.
And now we're kind of flashing back again to when she was with Jacob and they were making this play together. And Jacob offers her the lead role of Lori, which he wrote the main character of the show after her. Like, for her, specifically. He literally named the character Lori, and her name is Laura.
Coincidence? I think not!
Obviously. And he just offered her the part. He was like, I want you to play the lead. And she's like, it's Broadway. Like, that's my dream. And he's like, I know. That's why I want you to have it. Like, I want you to be my lead. Great. I love that. Also, don't trust him. My cat decided to join me. This is Romeo. Say hello. She's about to meet Monster, which is my favorite character ever. He's actually quite funny. I did not realize how funny Tommy Dewey was. He's very fucking funny. There he is. Let's go. So far what has happened is she just met the Monster and he came out of her closet and she passes out. She's on the couch. She's like, are you going to hurt me? And he's like, do you want me to hurt you? And she's like, no. He's like, okay, like, then I'm not going to. And she's like, then what do you want? And he's like, well, actually, like, I have noticed, like, since your mom's been gone, I quite enjoy living in this house alone. Like, and I just, don't really want to share it. I'm not really into roommates. So I think that tomorrow you should wake up, have your morning coffee, pack your shit up and get the fuck out. Like, and he like snapped and she was like, oh my God. And then she starts crying and he's like, I don't care. Like, no, sorry. Like, you got to go. And she's like, no, like, I have nowhere else to go. Like, I'm sad and I'm this and I'm that. And he's like, oh my God, fine. You have 2 weeks. Like, you have 2 weeks to get the fuck out. She's like, okay. And like, that's just what it is. And now he had said his 3 rules were stay out of his way, don't tell him what to do, and don't tell anyone about him or he'll rip her fucking throat out, which is crazy. But just joking.
Right.
The way that I love Jackie now after watching the movie, I thought that she was like so not going to be a girl's girl, and she so is a girl's girl. She's like the best person in the show.
Yas Queen, Skinny Legend, Versace boots the house down. Slay Queen, Hunty Mama, and Oop Daddy work. Charlie X, yet snatch my wig.
I do have to say that I love that they save her like actual singing for the music like until the very end. Like you kind of just get like a little snippet of something. So I'm not musically like trained. I'm not like a theater kid or anything, but I was in choir literally from like elementary school all the way through high school. I love to sing. Singing is my favorite thing ever. When you know that you can sing a song and you practiced it like a motherfucker and then you get to an audition and sing and you bomb so badly, oh my God, what a fucking horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling. And it feels just, I felt that in my bones and I hate it. It makes me want to crawl out of my skin.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
But yeah, so far what's going on is her and the Monster are getting along. They like just watched a movie together and finally now we're like on good terms. She was like gonna go to the audition. She was like, yeah, I was thinking about going. And Monster was like, oh, like, then go. Like, you should do it. And she's like, well, like, I can't do it. Like, I'm a mess. Like, I just had surgery. Like, I just did this. And he's like, so? Like, what does that matter? Like, do you feel like you can perform? She's like, well, yeah, but, and he's like, then go. And then she ends up going to the audition. And she almost doesn't get in until the guy that's checking people in realizes that she has been the one that played Lori in all the workshops that they've been doing for this play. He was like, you're so good. He's like, why didn't they offer you the role, like the part? And she's like, oh, like, me and Jacob, like, it's complicated. And he's like, you guys broke up. Like, got it. Okay, so she's going to the audition, but then she ends up meeting Jackie Donovan. That's her name, Jackie. Sorry, took me a second. So Jackie Donovan ends up showing up, and she apparently is like a huge, I don't know if she's a Broadway star or just a star in general. But she goes and she knows the person that's doing the casting and stuff. So obviously she's like, she's got it in. She's good. So now Lori just goes to do this audition, completely biffs it, and now she's back home and is laying on the bed, and she's like, oh my God, like, that was such a disaster. Like, my throat closed up. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, this is horrible, blah, blah, blah. And Monster's like literally laying under the bed, like looking up at her, and he's like, that's okay. Like, that just happens sometimes. Like, don't worry about it. Like, whatever. She was talking about how she's like down in the dumps. She's like, I'm just probably not that talented anyway. Like, I just, I don't even like, I failed. Like, this was just like, now my life's over. Like, I'm not even talented. And then Monster immediately was like, oh, like, do you know who's super talented? And she's like, who? And he's like, me. And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, I know how to act. Yeah, I can also sing. I'll prove it to you. And he's like, come on, let's go do a sonnet or something. Like, we'll do some acting. Now that's what they're doing. So now they're drinking and doing some lines. What's the word? I don't know. Some acting? What's
your name is else I know not, nor by what wonder you do hit of mine. More than earth, divine.
Glorious supposition think he gains by death, that hath such means to die.
My earthly gross conceit, smothered in errors, feeble, shallow, weak. The folded meaning of your words' deceit.
Being light, be drowned if she sink.
swoon? Every time. I did the same thing the first time I watched that. Now Jacob is calling.
Ryan.
So, they just said that they gave the part to Jackie of Lori, the main character in the play, not Lori. And when I first watched that, I thought that they said that she didn't audition, which I was like, okay, fine, like, I guess whatever. Like, favoritism. But it sounds like she did audition. But now he just said, yeah, and she didn't audition, but we offered Maisie a part of one of the supporting roles. Why didn't Maisie audition?
Bombastic side eye.
Hi, editing Alexa here. So, what has happened so far is Jacob called Laura and offered her the part of the understudy for Lori, because they have offered the part to Jackie. So she obviously took it because she wants to be on Broadway, and that's the whole point here. And he was genuinely surprised that she took the part. So, which obviously she's going to take the part. Like, Monster comes into the room after she hangs up the phone with Jacob, and she's visibly upset. You felt this rage bubbling up inside of her, and Monster had asked, what's the feeling that you're having? And she's like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel good. Like, I don't like it. And he's like, let it out, release it. And she's like, no, I can't. Like, it's too much. I just like, you can tell she's holding back. And he's like, just let it go. Like, it's okay. And he ends up opening up her mom's like kitchen cabinets and just starts like grabbing a plate and just smashing it on the ground. She's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, what? Like, who cares? Like, it's fine. Just let it out. And she's like, no. And he's like, come on, try it. And then he tosses another one and she's like, oh my God. And he ends up just handing her a plate. He's like, just do it. He's like, just do it. Like, stop thinking about it and just do it.
Just do it.
And she smashes the plate and like realizes that she feels really good. So they're just sitting there breaking plates. They end up like getting into a bit of a food fight. Like, they're having a good old kiki. It was great. Anyway, it gets to a point where they kind of like come down from, all the excitement, emotions, whatever. And she tells Monster, like, well, I guess like my 2 weeks is up, you know, like I should probably start heading out of here. And he's like, yeah, probably. And, you know, you can tell like there's a little bit of like a hesitation there. And she starts to kind of walk out of the room, and he like kind of just gently grabs her arm and is like, stay. And she's like, okay. And like, that's it.
She is now at her first table reading. Oh, I hate this when I hear Jacob talk.
I can help you navigate the toxicity of this male culture which is encroaching on our feminist island. There is something called mansplaining. Have you heard about this? Mansplaining is when a man will condescendingly explain something to a woman that she already knows.
Is it? This movie is about feminine rage, because the way that he had his lines and he spoke like that, I immediately was like, oh, it's on. I'm ready to fight you right now. First off, energy that he's giving, very Cole Sprouse from that Call Her Daddy podcast, where he's just ripping cigarettes and he's like, you know, it's interesting how... Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Jacob. Shut up. And now he's like, and this play, as shown in the title, is a love letter to women and about how society has oppressed them and, you know, how they come out stronger. First off, Jacob, you're the problem. And for him to write this play and know damn well Laura helped him the whole time, it's all her perspective. That's the whole point too, is like, I know damn well this is all her perspective. He knows nothing about the oppression that women feel and the things that we go through in society. I hate it when they speak of it in this way. You know what I mean? Where it's like, let me highlight women that have gone through this. Let me write about women's struggles and profit off of women's struggles in that way. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by that. I don't mean I don't want to hear that kind of stuff from a man, because be an ally. We love an ally.
Talk, Valentina. Ally. But
do not try to spoon feed to me my experiences and tell me, you know, I know how that feels, you know, and I know what women experience, because I see it day to day, and I do nothing about it, but I see it. I sure see it. Like, dude, ew. And her just sitting there having to like you can tell she's like kind of hanging on to his words, but also she's kind of like, I think she's starting to see that filter come down, like the rose-colored glasses with him come down, where she's like, oh, that's, okay. But then also she's like, still there, listening, feeling grateful to be there. And that makes me really sad.
y'all be weak in the knees. Stand up! Stand up!
So far what's going on is they just did the table reading, and you can see Lori like kind of mouthing some of the lines. So you can tell that she's keeping up with it. So obviously she's the understudy. She's got to keep up with it. But you can tell that she's like focused on him and then focused on the play. So it's like she's not really like, this is the first time that she's not like dropping everything just for him. Like she's actually like so serious about this role right now. I love that they share a room together, because he lives in her closet and lives underneath the bed. So even though they're roommates, they're like literal roommates. Like that's so funny.
And they were roommates.
Oh my God, they were roommates.
Oh, I fucking love this outfit. It is so not rare that like they really eat it up with like a Halloween look in some of these, but oh God, she looks fucking phenomenal. Oh yeah, me too. Be still my beating heart. Damn, bitch. The eyeshadow, the lips, the hair, the dress. Ugh.
Can I hear a little commotion for the dress? A little bit?
Monster's here with his one bang curled.
Not the banging! The banging!
Monster sent your precious love. I don't actually know the song, but I like it. So she's at the party. She's not having a good time. And Monster ends up showing up. And she ends up having a good time after that. Like, they're dancing. Everything's great. And they decide to get out of there. And she sees that Jacob starts to, like, sneak off somewhere with Jackie. Like, the curiosity has gotten to her. So she goes and catches him sleeping with somebody. We don't see who the face is. But we see him, you know, hooking up with somebody in another room. And she's just sitting there just staring, like, just sad, angry. Like, you could just see, like, just this, like, blank look on her face. And Monster comes up behind her. But then he was like, wait here. Literally opens up, like, the what is it, like the floor or whatever, like where people like, where you drop through. Drops Jacob through there, and like, whether he breaks his arm, sprains his arm, something, but then they like leave. She starts freaking out. She's like, you know, what if he saw us? Like, oh my God, I feel bad. I feel really bad. And Monster's like, don't feel bad. Like, why do you need to feel bad about that? Like, he hurt you. And she's like, why did you have to hurt him? And he's like, because he hurt you. Like, it's not okay. She's like, no, it's okay. I'm not an idiot. Like, she's like, you know, I knew that Jackie was like, she's prettier than me. She's more talented than me. Like, you know, obviously he's going to go after her. Like, I'm nothing. Like, it's okay. Like, it just has to be okay. And Monster's like, it's not okay though. Like, it's not okay what he did to you. And she's like, no, it has to be okay. And I know that feeling of like, it has to be okay. Like, this is just, it is what it is. Like, if I'm not okay with it, like, what am I going to do about it? And he's like, no, you don't have to accept that. Like, I don't accept that. And he's like looking at it. He's like, look at me. He's like, he wrote this part for you. You helped him write this play. And he took it away from you because he didn't want to be around you. Like, just because things got tough, he just didn't want to have to deal with you. So he got rid of you. Like, that's not okay. You don't deserve to be treated like that. And she's like, it's not okay. And he's like, no, it's not okay. Like, you see her, like, finally realize, like, how fucked it is what Jacob did.
And I work like a dog day and night, living off of coffee from a pot none of you want to touch.
Anyway, now they're kissing, her and Monster. So we're an hour and 11 minutes in. After the whole, like, it's not okay monologue, I said montage, monologue, her and Monster kiss. They hook up, everything's all great, she's having a great time with him, they're like bonding, they're singing together. She leaves, now she's at play rehearsal, and everybody's just already on edge. Like, she's just very on edge for, you know, having such a good time with her boyfriend. Jackie's like, oh, aren't you supposed to be on stage left? And she's like, yeah, I got it. And she like walks off, and she's like, oh my God, like, I'm sorry, I just didn't want to run into you. Like, and she like just feels bad. She's like, oh, no, I wasn't saying it like in a mean way. Anyway, another girl's walking by, and she goes like, hey, like, what's her deal? And she's like, maybe it's the fact that, like, you're flirting with her boyfriend. And she's like, yeah. She's like, they were together. She's like, they just broke up a few months ago. And she's like, oh, fuck. She's like, yeah. And also, the part that you were playing, Lori, was written for Laura. So now Jackie realizes, like, the shit that she has been thrown into. Oh, shit. Now Jackie was just singing her part of, you know, like, the main song that they're singing in this play. And Jacob was giving her a bunch of shit and was like, you know, it sounds like you're singing Happy Birthday at my mom's house. Like, I'm just not getting anything. Like, I need more. And she's like, okay, sorry. Anyway, she like still messes it up, and he's like,
I don't want to have to say the same things over and over again, because if I do, then I feel like my language no longer has kind of any utility.
Yeah. Like, he's like just going on and on. Like, he's just berating her. And Laura goes like, Jacob, like, lay off. And he's like,
what was that, Laura?
And she's like, lay off her. And he's like, you know what? Now's not the time. And he's like, you know what? Also, you're too close. Like, you need to back up. Like, you need back. Like, this isn't about you.
And turn your big ass around and get the fuck back to your fucking seat. The fuck is wrong with your ashy ass?
This isn't about you. And she goes,
funny, it used to be.
And he was like, now's not the time. And she's like, now is the time. And she's like, no, I want to talk about it right now. Which I was like, period. And then fucking Jackie ran off. She was like, oh, let me hit the back real quick. Let me get out of here. And she goes up to Jacob, and she's like, you know, he's like, you're embarrassing yourself. And she's like, you're embarrassing yourself. And mind you, she kind of stumbles through it a little bit, which, like, I wish that she came out a little more confident, but also I get it. This is like real shit. I mean, like, it's like it stumbles out of you, like all this anger and the stuff that's bubbling up that like you just pushed down for so long that like you're not going to have like a great articulation of what you're trying to say. It's like you're just furious at that moment, and you just try to spit it all out at once, you know? So she's like, oh, look at me. I'm Jacob. Like, I blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, Laura, I'm hungry. Like, can you make me some pasta? I just can't get off this piano. And she's like, well, you're not. Like, you act like your shit doesn't stink.
Well, guess what, Jacob? I lived in the same apartment as you for years, and I smelled your shit, and it doesn't smell good.
I was like, ate with that. And she's like, you just like, oh, like, you're such a piece of shit. She's like, you're a fucking asshole.
You disloyal, narcissistic piece of shit asshole!
Oh. Anyway, she storms off, and now her and Maisie, she just ran into her down in like audience chairs.
Okay, girl, bye. Bye.
Anyway, now I just see in the little corner here, Jacob is coming out, but I just want to...
What, you think you're cool because you have a leather jacket?
Okay, so she and Jacob are now talking, and Jacob, he feels inconvenienced, even though it's his fault that he did all of this, but she's literally like, Jacob, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why did you offer me this role and write this person after me after I workshopped everything with you to make this play? She's like, I listened and acted out every iteration of this play that there could possibly be, and you still gave it to somebody else. And he's like, you're my girlfriend. He's like, and I like, we broke up. Like, I don't want to be around you. I can't be around you. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. And it's like,
oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
this is her dream, dude. This is the choice that you made. Like, this is what happens. And she's like, so why did you do all of that? Like, is it because I was sleeping with you? Is the main role just considered only for people that are currently sleeping with you? And now he's going to be like, what? Like, what do you mean? And she's like, because of Jackie. And I just know. Because it's not Jackie. Spoiler alert. It's not Jackie that he's sleeping with. But anyway, he's like going to play it off where he's sleeping with her.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
So she just told him, she was like, I still love you and I don't want to feel this way. And she's like, I just need to know, like, how did you stop loving me? How'd you stop loving me so easy? Back off, Jacob. That's not an invitation. Yeah, he's just had sex with her now. He's like, God, I'm such an asshole. And said, I spoke to the creative team. You can't be in the show anymore. He's like, you're a liability.
Huh?
Sorry, you knew that I was kicked out of the show and you still had sex with me? Oh, word?
Back the fuck up, and I'm gonna do you like Will Smith.
What an absolute piece of shit. Oh my God, what an asshole. Hi, Queen. This is Juliet. Say hello to the camera. Hello. So Monster does live in the closet, but it's literally like a little apartment that she just like kind of keeps going. It's like Narnia, like that she goes into. It's like all of her lost stuffed animals, all of her lost dishes, all of her old socks that she lost. So she talks to Monster and tells him that she had slept with Jacob and she was really sorry. He was like not mad that she had slept with Jacob because of the fact that he had cheated on her, or that she had cheated on him, but the fact that he was like, why did you do that? And she was like, I don't know, like it just happened. And he's like, he doesn't love you. He does not love you the way that you deserve to be loved. And she's like, the way I deserve to be loved, like, oh yeah, like how would you know? Like you're a monster. And he's like, I may be a monster, but like I know you. Like you need to look at yourself. Like this isn't good for you. And she's like, look at myself. You're a monster. You're disgusting. You're this, you're that. You're horrible. Like just being horrible to him. He's like, I may be that, and like I may be all those things, but like I at least know that like you deserve better. And she's like, well, how would you know? Like you never leave the house. Like, you know, you just lock yourself away in here. And he goes, what do you mean I lock myself away in here? He's like, the only reason I'm in here is because you put me here. He was like, you were the one that shut me out when, like, you were the one that locked me in here. Which was like, oh, like that's interesting. So it showed when she was a kid, and after that kid had like gotten scratched up by him, how she'd like shut him out. Like she literally shut the door and you could hear him banging on it, and she was like plugging her ears, and it was like kind of going back and forth between like present time and not present time. So she's like shutting him away like as she's doing it. And he's like, please don't do this again. Please don't do this again. And she's like, just go away. Like, I don't want to see you. And he's like, fine. You don't want to see me? Like, fine, I'm gone. Leaves. And then she opens up the closet and she's like, Monster, like, are you still there? And like, he was just gone. Like, he completely disappeared. Like, the entire closet was like ripped to shit. He's just gone. So, but there's no more like extra room or like extra apartment that she was just in. Just tell like she's depressed and she's not crying. She's just like, just dead behind the eyes.
I don't need friends. They disappoint me.
But now she's at the doctor's office. And they just told her that she is cancer-free.
No cancer.
And she's like, great, now what am I going to do? He's like, I don't know, go celebrate? And she's like, great. Like, girl. Anyway, Jackie's here, and she is thanking her for sticking up for her at play rehearsals, which is great. Yeah, so now she just told her, I've never hooked up with Jacob, like, ever, like, not even close. She's like, it was not me. So now Jackie has just hinted that she has a plan for opening night, which is very exciting.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
We just found out that the girl that Jacob has been hooking up with is fucking Maisie. Literally. Crazy. I clock that shit. I think any woman would clock that shit very quickly. Like, fuck you, Maisie. What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you joking? It was already bad enough that you were like defending my ex-boyfriend that dumped me because I had fucking cancer. And for you to be fucking him behind my back like that? Ew. Ew. It doesn't even matter if we're broken up. That's horrible. That's a horrible thing to do as a best friend. Are you joking? Absolutely not.
Disgusting!
Ugh. So anyway, she just caught her in the hallway and then just walked away. Like she like saw it and was like, and then just walked off because she's trying to enact her plan here. But upside is that Laura here is going to use this as her like center for her act. And I fucking love that. I fucking love that shit. I'm like, you know what? Perfect. I love the music in this movie. It's so fun. They only have a few songs in it, but it's so fucking good. And I would watch the shit out of this play. Are you joking? So now Jacob realized that Jacob is now coming after her because he realized that she is playing the main character because he's obviously watching the play. And she knows what's happening, like she knows what's coming, so she's kind of just preparing herself for it because she's still reeling from the fact that she found out that Maisie and Jacob were sleeping together. Like the rage is coming back in, and it's like, I think she's just starting to feel something, and I think she's trying to push it back down, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Rage!
Anyway, so now Jacob is like barreling down the hallway and is like, Laura! And you could see him like now finally break. Like he has somewhat kept his cool most of this movie. Like he's just kind of like, he's always had the upper hand most of the movie. And I hate that. But now it's finally like he's broken where he's like, he's showing his rage and he's going to try to be intimidating. And she's not going to let that happen.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
So now she sees a yardstick and she snaps it in half. Oh my God, she's finally got an ick.
Oh my God, ew, David.
Okay, so Jacob comes running in. He's like, oh my God, like, what the fuck are you doing here? And she literally turns to him and goes like, how long? He's like, how long what? Like, just so furious. She's like, how long have you been sleeping with Maisie? He's like, are you seriously talking about that right now? Are you seriously fucking talking about that? Like, that doesn't matter. Who cares? He's like, what are you doing here? He's like, where's Jackie? What the fuck? He's like, the New York Times is here. The New York Times. It's like they're sitting out there with a legal pad waiting to make me critic's pick.
You freaking bricks! When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
Oh, so you're 5 years old. You're a child throwing a fucking tantrum. Relax. Stop screaming at me. He's like, what can I do? He's like, what can I do, Laura, to make sure that you don't fuck up my life? And she's like, you think I'm fucking up your life? And he goes, yes, you've been fucking up my life. You are so fucking selfish. And she's like, watch what you say to me, Jacob. And he's like, or what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me, Laura? And she goes, I'll rip your fucking throat out.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
End scene. Period. I'm putting that on my fucking tombstone. That's amazing. It's just, it was the way that she delivered it. It was the way that he stepped back and realized, oh, she's kind of scary. Yeah, motherfucker. Count your fucking days.
Yes, queen, slay, slay, slay your enemies, raise up your army, take your rightful place upon the throne.
And we continue on. We have about 11 minutes left. You got a little blood on your dress there, queen, and on your face. Monster's here. So now Monster just showed up as she's singing her number. He just came to see her as Jacob was, you know, threatening her and just ripped his throat out.
Well, when life gives you lemons.
Oh my fucking God, what a movie! Oh my God, what a movie. Okay, so long story short, Jacob gets in her face, she threatens to rip his throat out, and then all of a sudden the curtains open and you see her start to sing the song, and all of a sudden you notice there's blood on her face, blood on her clothes, and as she's singing you notice like a couple of things are going back and forth kind of between the interaction with her and Jacob and then between her singing, and you see that Monster comes in. He immediately sees Jacob and just no hesitation rips his throat out, and she's like, I thought I lost you. And he's like, no, you couldn't lose me. Like, you'll never lose me. Like, I'm your monster. And they kissed and it was amazing. And then the curtains open while they're kissing, which is interesting because the curtains open and she starts singing. And as she's singing the song and going through all this stuff, you kind of like pan the camera down and you can see Jacob literally dead on the stage. And she's singing the song. She's singing her fucking hard out. She sounds phenomenal. She sounds fucking awesome. And it's all the emotion. It's a beautiful fucking scene. So now it ended and everybody was just quiet. Like, obviously there's no applause or anything. And they're like, somebody had like turned to their like boyfriend, I don't know, and was like, is this part of the show? And he responded like, I don't know, but like, I love it. Then people start to kind of like get a little scared, whatever, like it's a whole thing. And you realize that the monster was never real the whole time. The monster was actually her the whole time. So anytime that she had caused any destruction or anything, it was her doing. It was that rage inside her that would come out. And when she would speak to the monster in such a negative way or be scared of the monster or start to love the monster, it was always her. It was her finding that confidence and that fucking self-love and the realization that like you don't have to make yourself smaller for anybody. Like if they don't fucking like you, who fucking cares? Like you don't have to abide by anybody's fucking rules. Obviously don't kill people, but like in my mind, I'm thinking that she just killed off the idea of Jacob and didn't actually kill him off. Because if I think about her actually killing him, she's going to prison and that's an unhappy ending. And I don't want that to happen. I want her to have a great life and become a Broadway star. So I'm just going to take that as my own ending because I am a optimist. So do not ruin this for me.
Oh, no, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. Matter of fact, I'm blind in my left eye. And 43% blind in my right eye. I don't see much of nothing.
But yeah, the monster was it was her the whole time. So the whole time, like, especially when he was like yelling at her at the end of it before she got rid of the monster. He was like, look at yourself. And she's like, I am looking at myself, like as she's looking at the monster. It was just awesome. It was the fact that like she didn't talk to anybody about the monster at all. So it's not like anybody like knew of the monster besides her. It was the fact that like why the monster never got mad at her for like going to find Jacob and finding out like that she was watching him like sleep with somebody else, and he wasn't angry about it. He was angry for her and decided to hurt him instead, which was her. When she was talking about acting in the play, like when she first auditioned and she failed, she was like, I'm a horrible actress, like I'm not even good, like honestly, like she's much better, like she's much prettier, like I have no talent anyway. And his response was, you know who's super talented? And she goes like, who? And he goes, me, like I can act, I can sing. That was her internally knowing that she's a fucking good actress and that she's a great singer. Like she's a phenomenal artist, and that was the point. So that was like the part of her that like always lifted her up. Also, like when she was at the party and she was having like the worst time because she just wasn't being herself. She like felt like she was kind of closed off, like nobody saw her for her, like. And then when the monster showed up, like she started having a good time and was like able to dance and able to like experience like life again on her own. That was like her first time like going out on her own and like not bringing a date, not bringing a friend, like just being her. Anyway, fucking phenomenal movie. It was so beautifully shot. The musical is beautiful. The fucking music is beautiful. She's so funny. Everybody's fucking amazing in this movie. I fuck with this movie so heavy. I love this movie so much. And fuck Jacob. I hope he's fucking dead. Honestly, I know that I was like, oh, she killed off the idea of Jacob. No, he's dead too. I don't care. But like, she doesn't get in trouble for it because fuck that guy. Anyway, thank you so much for coming to my channel and watching this movie review, and I'm just very grateful. So thanks so much. Please come back, and I'll see you next time. Bye.